All right. All right, so that's our keynote. We got the long lightning talk out of the way. So now we're going to go into our shorter version. So we've got our speakers have 5 minutes. We don't restrain them on advancing slides automatically like for an Ignite talk, but they have 5 minutes to get up here and help with their, give their message to you. So our first speaker, oh, this thing's like barking at me. Okay, the timer. I'll fix the timer. Gretchen, come on up. I really like your Twitter handle, Really McNeely. So here you go.
All right, I have no slides.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna. I'll hold on to this.
No slides, nothing to advance. My name's Gretchen McNeely. I work for a company called Pillar Technology. And one thing that we care about a great deal, along with our parent company, Accenture, is the development of smart city initiatives and smart community civic technology efforts. And we are, among us, about 300 software developers. And they are hotshots, and I'm not going to talk about them tonight. So I want to talk to you about technology. One of the things we take into account when we work with a city or a community on a smart city initiative is we look at the city's heartbeat. We look at the brand of the city. How many of you are from Raleigh? Does Raleigh have a brand? Something. Is it Charlotte? It's not Charlotte. It's not Charleston. It's not Savannah. It's Raleigh, and there's something visceral about it. We look at the brand, and we look at what the city is about and how it lives. There's another piece to that, the city's structure. Can we take the mic down just a little bit? We look at the city's structure in terms of who are the leaders, who are the civic, the technology, the governmental leaders. What's the infrastructure in place that we're going to be working with as we develop an initiative? So that's one thing we take into account. Now, we do, of course, look at technology. We are software developers. So we look at what technological systems are already in place. What might we need to put in place? What needs to work together, play nicely together? So as a software consultancy, as you can imagine, that is a sweet spot for us. But it's the third spot that's most interesting to me and what I want to cover tonight, and that's the citizens of the community. The people who live in the city, the boots on the ground, the people who are supposedly going to be affected and influenced, supported, and uplifted by any sort of civic technology effort. And you would be amazed at the number of technical projects that never involve speaking to the people who will be affected by them. And that's the part that we can't forget. That's the piece that helps set us apart. Because if we move beyond surveys and we move beyond civic leadership groups and we listen to people and we talk to them and we observe them and we understand from them how their lives are, that's when we have a starting point. And that's when we have a way to determine whether we've moved the needle in the right direction. I work as an ethnographer. This is not a word that falls trippingly off the tongue. For our purposes tonight, you can think of me as a design researcher. I go into people's homes or workplaces with their permission, and I look at how they live, how they work, how do they do the work of their daily lives, how do they solve their problems, what's hard for them, how do they work around those problems. And what that gives me is a set of insights about how people are living that I can then filter through that brand and infrastructure filter of what Raleigh is all about, that I can then filter through that technological filter of what we can bring to the party technically. And we can prioritize those opportunities. And what we end up doing then is solving real problems for real people instead of putting technology on a pedestal. We're working right now with the city of Columbus, Ohio on a large smart city initiative. And the reason we won that project was not because of our hotshot developers. There's lots of great software consultants out there. We won it because we talked to them about the fact that the system we would implement would help a single mother get to a prenatal health appointment more frequently and on time and with more information. So we talked about the so what of technology. And every night we go to sleep understanding that that is the part that matters. I met with Darnell Smith this morning, the CIO of Raleigh, and we've been talking about opportunities for Raleigh, and I think he actually put it best of all. He said, you know, I personally will get really excited about the kind of sensors we use for this. But it doesn't matter, he said, if we use Siemens sensors or how elegant the API is. What matters is how we change people's lives. And he's right. What matters is how we move the needle for the people of Raleigh. And we can only do that, we can only improve their lives by understanding how their lives are right now, right this minute. Thanks a lot.
I like the idea of using design to improve lives. That's kind of a no-brainer. We actually do that a lot with our Code for America brigades to use actually ask people who are going to use the apps or the application what they want and what they need, right? So, all right, I think we've got some folks